Welcome to the Sports Bros Podcast, featuring the almighty B Live, the money man Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative Eddy. The Sports Bros Podcast, by the fan, for the fan, talking sports just the way you like it. And without any further ado, let's give it up for the Sports Bros. We talking sports. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's time once again for your favorite sports podcast, none other than the Sports Bros Podcast. We are here once again, gentlemen. I'm pretty sure people are thinking, what are you guys going to talk about since football is over and done with? Or we're going to talk about a little bit of football. Don't get me wrong, we're going to talk about a little bit of football. So we're going to talk about some since there's not any until August or until training camp starts. But we ain't going to be over covering these OTAs and these big old mock drafts and all that riffraff. There are other sports that we can opine upon as well, too. But enough of my incoherent rambling. I have not only one, but two of the best co-hosts in the world. Introducing first, the almighty B Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? Yes, it is Eddy somewhat tried to opine upon, and yeah, that was incoherent. But
yeah,
yes, it isn't all about football. Yes, this week struggled a little bit, and as he likes to say, it's Tuesday. No, it's not Tuesday. It's Tuesday when we publish this. But as we record on Monday, I'm still waiting on a little bit of NASCAR. I need my NASCAR, and I didn't get it yesterday. So what else is there to talk about? No, we did not get any NASCAR yesterday.
I thought the Daytona 500 was on Sunday.
It usually is, but due to weather, they postponed it, and it's supposed to be sometime today.
So I deliberately missed it on Sunday and had to postpone it to deliberately missing it on Monday. I got you.
So you plan on this entire episode just interrupting me? You ain't gonna let me? Not even during.
Well, if I'm waiting for you, the show will be over before I get my chance.
No, yeah. Okay.
I was just trying to get some information on the Daytona 500 by you. So please continue.
But how about this? We're gonna talk about the UFL right now. Because yes, UFL is about to come. Their season's about to come up, and we know how much Scottie D loves the UFL. So there you go. He's rolling his eyes right now
because I know that we won't have anybody watch us. I'll get the next couple weeks off. That's why
I have never wished for something more than for Scottie D to take some time off.
Oh boy, here we go.
Go ahead. You know what? There's no reason to introduce him since he introduced himself with that mouth of his. And going to the top of the order. I don't want to hear no singing or nothing. So, man, here it is, the top of the order. Go ahead. Yeah, that's it.
Be live by the bylaws of sports.
Bylaws of what?
Sports Bros.
The bylaws of what? Let's see. I ain't even set up my mic yet. That's what. Oh my goodness. All right.
All right, and the other guy, as aforementioned, he is the pride of Washington, Pennsylvania. You know what he'll be graduating at Waynesburg University, the star of the Buzz television program. Listen here, Mr. What did you tell the kids, Scotty? Look here, bow tie. He is the one, the only, the money man, Scottie D.
Don't worry. Be happy. No, I was only on that show one time. These kids do a good job of that show, the Buzz. I did get to appear on one time. But yeah, for those of you who may be joining us for the first time, this is typically how we get the show started. B Live gets angry with me before we get started, and we haven't even gotten underway. But we are in no man's land here. Football is over. March Madness is not here. We're trying to find something to watch, and I'm not going to do it when it comes to NASCAR because it's just. I want to watch sports, not car contests. So we're in a little bit of a bind right now. We're in a little bit of a pickle, but actually we can edit that and go with this instead. Man, that car race was amazing yesterday. Wow, I am blown away by how good that race was. and that's the top of the order. You can pick either one of those, Eddie.
I think Scottie D is trying to set a record for how many different groups of sports fans we can alienate. Like
that UFL draft was something.
His asinine comments. The one thing that drives me insane is that he systematically lost almost all of our female watchers, and then turns around and said, "I should leave alone Taylor Swift." I went ahead and said, "I don't understand what he wants." Then it's no NASCAR. No soccer, but golf. Yes, let's do golf, but not soccer. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So what can we cover, Scottie D? What will appease you right now? You know what? It doesn't matter.
Eddie Cool, I watched the dunk contest Saturday. What did you think of that?
Dear God, Eddie Cool, take Amtrak this thing.
Take the reins of this crazy train. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into it. The top of the order.
All right, let's get this thing started. Here it is, the top of the order.
Now, as we know in the National Football League, it never stops. Preseason, postseason, offseason, drafts, OTAs, arbitration contract. Wait a minute, that's baseball. Neither way, that's neither here nor there. There's always something going on in the world of the NFL. So last week, for some strange reason, a few days after the Super Bowl, the San Francisco 49ers have parted ways with defensive coordinator Steve Wilkes after a loss in the Super Bowl. Be live. You know how we feel about Steve Wilkes, because there was a point in time as our interim coach a few years ago. He went 6-6 down the stretch, and that should have gotten a job. But no, they want to get Frank Wright, and you see what happened to them, and then they didn't draft C.J. Stroud. Be live. What do you think, man? Steve Wilkes got a raw deal. Was his firing justified? What say you?
Kyle Shanahan is a coward. He's a punk. And everything that the sports media has lauded about him and how he's this mastermind, and when it comes to the offensive schemes and everything, if there was any point in time that I applauded him, I gave him any type of praise, I take it all the way back, because this dude is a joke. You're telling me right now that, first of all, the 49ers didn't need a scapegoat. They played one hell of a Super Bowl. If anything, you build upon what the heck you just did. You took the Kansas City Chiefs to overtime. And because of, there was a couple of coaching calls, yes, and et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, you took the Kansas City Chiefs to overtime. And that justified you firing anybody? Anybody. I know there's more behind the scenes that they won't report on, but I wish they would just be honest and say, hey, after that game, Shanahan and Steve Wilkes went back in the locker room and had words and went to blows. That's the only way you could justify this firing. They had to go to fisticuffs and say, if you would have done this, or if you would have let me coach the way I know how to coach, and that's the only way you justify this, because it was not to play on the field. There was no reason. There's no justifiable reason that we see with our very own eyes for this fire. And the thing about this is that just let us know. This is because with us now having to figure out what may have happened and et cetera, it makes Kyle Shanahan look like he needed a scapegoat. He's making excuses for something. And at the end of the day, it looks like Kyle Shanahan just can't finish the job. Because you know what the common denominator about double-digit leads for the 49ers are recently? Him. Yeah. And before he became a head coach, guess where he came from? 28-3, March 28th, Atlanta Falcons. He can't finish the job. And that's what it looks like. So I just maybe Steve Wilkes, if you're out there, you want to interview with us and tell us what really happened. because now the man's out there without a job. Like right now, Steve Wilkes should have a job somewhere. And because of the way everything went down, he doesn't have a job. Bill Belichick should need to be needed, went ahead and gone and retired. Mike Vrabel should have a job, but it's something else right now. But Kyle Shanahan, I got no respect for him right now. Absolutely none. Well, Scottie D, well, what's your opinion? What you got? The outside looking in, because you know my affinity. You know our affinity for Steve Wilkes. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know why this happened. Obviously, the guy did a pretty good job because the team was in overtime in the Super Bowl. I mean, that's how close they were to winning a championship. The defense didn't have a terrible day. I don't know. Honestly, this is just you already said it. There's something probably going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. So I mean, obviously, I think he's a good coach. I wouldn't have expected him to be the fall guy for losing in the final game of the season that only two teams are even able to get to. So I don't know, man. It seems puzzling to me, but I don't really have a whole lot to offer on this because I don't think we know the whole story. I think there's just too much there has to be something else beyond just in-game performance, because we've all watched the Super Bowl and the Chiefs scored their first touchdown with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter after getting spotted the ball on a freak fumble on special teams. So I'm as puzzled as anyone else on this. I really don't quite understand it.
Yeah, I don't quite understand it because under Steve Wilkes, the defense for the San Francisco 49ers in 1 year, 17 games, regular season, they were third in total points allowed at 298 points, eighth in yards allowed at 303.9 a game, and third in points per game, only allowing 17.5 points a game. Somehow, some way, this man gets fired. From what I'm seeing, Steve Wilkes has been getting a raw deal. Think about it. He had that one bad year in Arizona, and after that, they yanked him out of there and went ahead and hired Cliff Kingsbury. Then he goes back to the Panthers, where he was previously before, and they had the 15-1 team, and he was stellar as defensive coordinator. Then he gets his chance when Ron Rivera leaves to move up, to associate, I think it was assistant head coach. And then, when Matt Rule fell apart for the final 12 games of the 21 season? No, 22 season. 21,
Yeah,
22. Yeah, 22 season, he wound up being 6-6. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe he get a job. But Carolina said, nah, we're going to go ahead and chase Frank Wright and get another retread. And Scotty, like you use that term, get another retread. And we see how that turned out. 6-6 and 2 and whatever the record was. I forgot about it by now. It's just, to me, I think it's nonsensical. And I think Steve Wilkes, like you said, B-Live should have a job. But I find it mighty weird that once all the coordinator jobs are filled up, okay, now we're gonna let you go. And then again, I'm like Scott, I'm like the both of you guys. There has to be more to the story that's being told. There has to be more to it. Who knows, B-Live? You never know. Shanahan and Wilkes could have had a Vince McMahon and Bret Hart situation. Hit me in the face. Somebody got hit in the face and somebody got fired. Who knows? I'm not saying to speculate any violence, but I just find it real weird that Steve Wilkes gets fired after one season as the defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers. And on top of that, the team played good. I mean, they were like a top 10 defense at one point, in the top 5. They're a very dominant defense. I do not understand it. It's beyond
it doesn't make any sense to me. The year prior with DeMeco Ryans, he gets a head coaching job.
Yep.
Steve Wilkes comes in, does a better job than DeMeco Ryans, and gets fired. Somewhere, somebody make it make sense to me, because the math ain't mathing to me. It just, and there's the chatter, the buzz, or whatever. I get it that DeMeco Ryans a little bit younger, a little bit more charismatic. I get some of that, but for Steve Wilkes to get fired, somebody tell me something. I'm gonna dig into this a little bit further, because we're lacking on a couple other sports. I need to know something. Somebody got to say something. Somebody holding some information that the public needs to know. I'm gonna be investigating. Stay tuned. I promise you that much.
Scottie D, what's on your mind?
I was just wondering if they had actually named a new defensive coordinator, but it doesn't appear they have as of yet. So that was just a question. I was wondering if maybe just there was a personality conflict with Shanahan, that he had something else promised to someone else. I don't. Yeah.
Players didn't even know the overtime rules. You know who that falls on? It falls on the head coach. Chump.
Maybe that was it. Maybe Shanahan said, "Hey, Steve, I need you to go tell everybody the overtime rules." And then he got sidetracked and they didn't know him. And so that maybe that's what happened.
I ain't doing it.
That's something wild crazy. So I just think that Steve Wilkes, man, he just got a raw deal, and I hope that he bounces back on his feet sooner rather than later. All right, fellas. So I don't know about y'all, but I glanced at the All-Star game and I heard one team scored 211 points and the other team scored 186 points. So pretty much what we have now is just a glorified damn practice, right? Ain't that what it is? Ain't nobody playing defense. Ain't nobody, trying to clamp down with the last 2 minutes of the game. It's just what the hell's going on with the All-Star weekend. But since we're moving into basketball, fellas, the first 41 games we ain't care about. But it's back 41 games. Oh, we care about a whole lot because there are playoff implications, playoff seedings. Some teams are bad, some teams are good, and some teams are tightly competitive. All right, fellas, with that being said, who's coming out of the East and who's coming out of the West? Scottie D, what say you?
This is an easy one. The Nuggets are going to win the whole thing again. Regular season doesn't mean anything to champions. They're the best team when it counts the most. They're going to win it again, and probably in the East, I think they beat the Bucks. I kind of have a feeling. I know the Bucks kind of took a little slump there with Doc Rivers coming in. What did they go 3-7 in his first 10 games or something silly like that?
Yep, 3-7. Mm-hmm.
But I still think they're figuring it all out, and I think they're going to be fine. And I'm not buying the Cavs as one of the top teams. I'm not buying the Celtics. They find a way to lose every year. I'm going with the Bucks and the Nuggies. That's. I'll probably start watching a little bit more NBA, or should I say the National 3-Point Shooting Association as we go forward here the next couple months. But for the now, I'm going to go the Nuggies to repeat.
In the words of Scottie D, hey, the 3-pointer ain't working. Don't work. Just keep shooting.
Keep putting them up.
Just keep putting them up. Every time I saw Scott say that in the group chat, I'm laughing. I'm like, yeah, just keep putting them up. Just keep putting them up.
Just keep chucking them. They'll go down eventually.
Yeah. I mean, you'll go like what, 6 for 12 or something like that. Be like, what say you?
The NBA is much. I applaud certain things. The NBA as a marketing standpoint. The NBA is stronger than they have before. The money is raking in.
Ooh, is it ever?
Adam Silver is doing phenomenal work as commissioner when it comes to marketability. He is the Jerry Jones of commissioners when it comes to. He knows how to market the NBA and he knows how to make money. The product that we see is absolutely atrocious. It's disgusting to watch. Across the board, I know I'm supposed to talk about who I'm picking, and I'm going to say that in just a moment, but Eddy Koo brought up the All-Star weekend, and it just sort of stuck in my side. Like, I had the game on, I had the All-Star game, and I blinked, I looked again, the East had scored 8 points in 2 seconds. I'm like, wait, well, hold on. Oh, Lord. Somebody threw up a half-court shot and then missed it. The East comes down, they shoot a 3-pointer, being guarded by absolutely nobody. And people paid thousands upon thousands of dollars to watch rap. Absolute.
And it was cold in Indy. It was cold.
Ain't no way in the world. Me and Silver would have had some words, but according to news outlets, sports media outlets, Adam Silver was not pleased. He was not happy. Joe Dumars is supposedly like the executive director of who did it and why. He wasn't happy. It was a very bad showing, and I'm talking about the entire.
What are they unhappy with? What are they unhappy with?
Like it needs to be something. Like,
well, I mean, the guys don't want to play. They you know, you can't make them dig in and put up more effort. I mean, you can offer more money, but they're already getting tons of that. You can't really scale it down the way you do with the NFL. I mean, they're scaling it down themselves. The NFL went from playing a game tackle pads to flags. Basketball, you can't really do much more than just say barely play defense, and that's kind of what they're already doing. And the dunk contest, I mean, you can only dunk a ball so many ways. I mean, that's probably time to move on from that. I think they stopped that a few years ago and then restarted it, but there's only so many different things you can do. You can only jump over cars and people so many times. And I thought that the little contest between Steph Curry and Sabrina Ionescu was pretty good. That was actually worth watching her go against Steph in that one-on-one match. But I mean, I don't know what they would what do they want the guys to actually start to care about the game and say, I really want to win this East first. I mean, you can't make somebody do that. You can't make them.
Won't they do like baseball, Scottie D? Wasn't there a point in time where at the All-Star game they played for home field advantage?
Yeah, and that's not fair to do that. That's stupid because it's you had guys that could get traded that are playing against their own cause at some point. I mean, that is true. The baseball thing, I know they tried to incentivize to make it more serious, but that didn't work. And so if that's the model we're looking at, we already know that failed because baseball's gone away from that.
Well, but either way, baseball is a much better game to watch than NBA. I'll tell you that much. At least we get a little something.
Well, it's kind of apples and oranges.
211 points.
That's ridiculous. I agree, but I mean, what? But what can you do if you're playing in a baseball all-star game? If the pitcher throws the ball, you're still going to try to hit it either way and hit it well. I mean, you're not going to say, I'm not going to swing at this one just because it's the all-star game and I don't feel like it. And if a fly ball is hitting your direction, you're going to try to catch it. That's just what that sport is. But if you're talking about the effort and making these guys care, I mean, I just don't know how you can do that. They're already rich.
The first thing that you do is shorten the game. There's no reason for it to be 48 minutes.
Like you do like what, 2 halves?
No, I'm sorry, it was 60 minutes. 48. My brain hurts. Whatever. No, do 5-minute quarters. 5-minute quarters. Hey, 3-on-3. I don't know, something. Anything, help a brother out. Like
they've tried. Didn't they try something with going to a certain score a couple years ago, like first team to 70 wins? Did they do something weird like that a few years back?
Yeah, I remember.
Yes, and I would love that. Shorten the game. We first of all, we as fans don't want to sit there for God knows how long to watch. Shorten the game. You know the players don't want to go all out, but at least let it be somewhere like, hey, like 5-minute quarters. That means, hey, there's less likely chance for injury. I'm not asking you to run up and down the court, full court press, set picks, and running into people, try to get offensive fouls. I'm not even really asking for all of that. I just want something. It was a cherry picking match the entire time. 2 players would run up the court. It was never all 5 players on one side of a court at any given point in time during the entirety of that game. Like, rebound, throw it down to the other side of the court where it's 2-on-1 and 3-pointer. That's all the East did the entire time. And I only watched maybe 2 minutes of the game. I knew what they were going to do. It was terrible. All right, now, but let me bring it back in because that could be a whole episode within itself. NBA, do better. Oh, you think the Nuggets are going to win the West? I like what I see in LA. And I am definitely not talking about the Lakers. The Clippers are, dude, they are clicking on a whole different level right now. And man, if they can stay healthy, I would not even remotely want to come close to playing them.
Oh, there you go.
Like the Clippers, are definitely my pick. At first when I was like, how in the world can you put Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook on the same team, and they managed to do it? Russell Westbrook coming off the bench and playing the best basketball he's ever played. All the bad stuff I said about Russell Westbrook, I'm taking it back. Well, now I'm not going to take it back because he was terrible for the Lakers because that whole scheme was terrible. But what he's doing right now, playing unselfish ball, coming off the bench and playing, is like 6 man of the year should be wrapped up. Too easy. I'm going with the Clippers, and then I'm gonna go to the Eastern Conference. I think the Celtics make it to the NBA Finals. But I think they're like you said, Scottie D, I think they're gonna find a way to lose it. I don't know. I really don't know what it is about the Celtics. They have the best team in basketball, I think. They're showing it right now, but we all believe the same thing. Something's going to happen in during the playoffs, and they're not gonna finish.
What I would recommend for the Celtics to get into the finals is just shoot the three. I think if they work on shooting the 3-pointer, that could be the ticket to success.
Just keep shooting, baby.
Shoot more threes. Just shoot more threes.
The Kristaps Porzingis move was genius, and that is paying off in every single way. And if you put the Clippers against the Celtics, I picked the Clippers to win it all. So shoot the three. Shoot it.
Yeah, so I'm over looking at the Clippers stats. You got Kawhi Leonard at 24.1 points a game. And guess what, fellas? Kawhi Leonard has played every game up until this point.
Yeah, he's due to get hurt. Paul George is calls himself playoff P and plays his worst basketball whenever he gets to the playoffs. Harden is a notorious choker in the postseason. The deeper he gets, the later in each series, the worse he gets. And that will just lead Westbrook to say, you know what, I'm taking over tonight. So they're one Kawhi Leonard turned ankle away from just doing what Clippers have done in their history, and that's just underachieving. So they have to prove it to me first. You talked me into liking the Nuggets last year. I'm there, and I'm not moving off of that until somebody beats them this year.
I tell you what, a team in the West that could really give the Nuggets a run for their money, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah, the Oklahoma City Thunder, they look tough, man. They got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, one of the best scorers in the league, in my opinion. And they look all around solid, man. Like, the Thunder hadn't been this good since, Harden, Westbrook, and Durant were there. But you look at them now, like, what in the hell is going on over here? So it's good to see that youth movement coming out the West. But then again, the champs are the champs for a reason, and that West is real tough because if you look at it, teams 1 through 10, they all have they're 500 or better. You got the Warriors in 10th place in the West at 27 and 26, and in between that you have the Mavericks at 32 and 33. I'm sorry, yeah, 32 and 33, and then you got the Suns and the Pelicans. They're both identical at 33 and 22. The Nuggets at 36 and 19, the Clippers at 36 and 17, the Thunder at 37 and 17, and the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team we did not see at all, at top of the Western Conference at 39 and 16. You remember when we was like, that trade for Rudy Gobert, I don't think it's going to work out. It's paying dividends now. So I'll go ahead and say it, coming out the West, man, it's still going to be the champs. It's still going to be champs. Because as soon as they start doing this right here, they start gelling, it's going to be good. The Celtics, they'll find a way to run it down their leg. Don't know why, don't know how. It's just they got to figure it out somehow, some way. But Bucks out the East and the Nuggets out the West, with the Nuggets winning it all. But I think it's going 27. All right, fellas, before we hop on to our favorite section portion of the show, Tiger Woods. What the hell happened with Tiger Woods, Scottie D? Did he have the bubble guts, bad back, what?
I have no knowledge of this. Be live, what happened?
Oh my God.
What happened?
Just what, Eddy
So,
cool. Just go
Tiger
go
had
ahead
back
to the
spasms
choices.
on Thursday, and then on Friday, they said he was having to pretty much pull over after every hole and run and regurgitate. That's what he was doing. He was tossing up. Had some kind of bug. He was dehydrated. The ambulance came. They gave him some fluids, and I'm not convinced Tiger can get through 4 days of golf in a major tournament or in a PGA tournament any longer. It's sad to see, but it takes him so much effort just to be able to get out there and play that he said, I'm only going to try to do this once a month. And then when he goes and plays, he has a bad back and gets sick in the first 2 days. And he was in danger of missing the cut anyway. So, well, why push through? I'm just throwing up here. I'm going to the clubhouse.
It hurts to see it because I know that he's put in a lot of work and et cetera, et cetera. I think he's going to keep trying. We'll see him next month. We'll see him a couple more times. But I just really, as far as competitive golf and Tiger Woods, it's even with his new brand and everything.
Got a new logo, Be Live. He's got a new logo.
Sunday Red.
Sunday Red.
And that's Sunday Red. 3 words. So
and a little
Tiger Woods,
little skeleton tiger he put on this.
The skeleton tiger, by the way, if you did not know, is an homage to his 15 majors. Like it's 15
stripes.
Yep. So I like that and everything. And if it's priced less than $40-$50, might have to go out there with it. I know it's not.
Good luck with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it is, and it is what.
You might have to take out a loan and put it on the card or something. Hell, who knows?
Factuals.
Hell, who knows? All right, fellas. Well, we got through that pretty briskly, pretty quickly. You two didn't kill each other, but looking at my phone, because I've yet to get a watch, guess what time it is?
What time is it? What's happening? What's going on?
Oh, Black Snow. I'm glad you asked. It is time once again for our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. And with that being said, wait a minute, I can't be screaming that because Button got a baby and the baby sleep. Hey, yo, Button, hit it. Choices of the voices coming right at you on the Sports Bros podcast. See, I'm mindful. I care. Coming at you right back on Sports Bros podcast. Bam.
And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Chicken Bog sounds so good right now.
You brought that on the air?
Yes, I'm going to bring it on there. And I'm not going to edit that. Once again, thank you to the wonderful and
ever.
Hold on, the baby sleep. Ever. So lovely, Miss Button, for introducing our favorite portion of the show, the choices of the voices. Y'all know how we do it. We ask y'all the question, you give us the answer. Sometimes y'all have soliloquies, essays, and dissertations, but it's all good. We're going to read them anyway. The bulleted point versions of it, we're going to read it anyway.
No, we're not. No, we're not. Y'all better curtail some of this essay writing. Shoot. We got time restraints. How they do it when you're watching a game at 4:00 in the morning?
Due to time constraints, we're gonna speed this thing up a little bit because our Sports Center start about 30 minutes. All right, you ready for? All right, let's go ahead and hop right into it. Scottie D, what's the topic for this week's choices of the voices?
Well, we are talking about Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen getting replaced as Fox's #1 guy by none other than Tom Edward Patrick Fitzgerald Brady III. And We want to know how you feel about it. Are you excited to hear Brady? I mean, or are you thinking that this is a bad deal for Greg Olsen? We're throwing this out there. Eddie, what did the people say?
Almost had a flashback. The mother effer came back. But anyway, he won't go nowhere and sit down. All right, so here we go. We got Trey Dizzle. He said Olsen was to broadcasting what Dak Prescott is to throwing football. Trash.
So not a fan of Olsen, in other words.
Nah, he's not on the Greg Olsen Express. Our Hall of Famer Uncle Max, he says, it doesn't matter to me. Haven't heard Brady cover a game and wasn't a fan of Greg Olsen. Hashtag Uncle Max don't give a damn what it sounds like. All right. Matty Ice, Martin Tracy said, I'll let you guess for me. Greg Olsen.
Yeah, we all know. We get it, Matty Eyes. We know.
Yeah,
you're a Patriots fan and all things Brady and yeah. All right.
Next, Scotty. What did he say, Scotty? What's the barber say?
Next.
All right. We got Tom Wynn a chicken dinner. He says Olsen was over his head. He was out of his league and hopefully stays there. Damn. Tell me how you really feel, Tom. Eddy serious. Eddy says keep Greg in the booth. Go ahead, B-Lab. What you about to say?
I was gonna say, and I'll wait until after we read all of them, but I'm just gonna say there was a clear divide in our answers, and I'm gonna opine on that in just a little bit. Yes, sir.
All right, so my boy Marcus, he says Homer Pitt because I'm a Panthers fan, but Greg Olsen all day. Tony Bogan, TB, what's going on, man? We got to get Tony Bogan on the show just to talk sports in general, for real. He said, honestly, interested to see how Tom Brady does. I still can't wrap my head around the fact that he's officially retired, but he couldn't be any worse than Tony Romo. Tony Romo ain't that bad. I think Tony Romo has a fresh, it's fresh. It's not like a player that's been retired, for like 10, 15 years and just starting this. Like, I think Tony Romo's approach is fresh. Jeffrey Lewis says, how does Brady not speak Japanlish? Japanese?
I guess that was supposed to be a combination of Japanese and English, and I really don't know what he was getting at. So he's going in the penalty box because I'm gonna need y'all to read before you click send because nobody knows what you were thinking about. So yeah,
Jeffrey, you that one.
maybe you come back and explain exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, come back because we don't know what the hell you're talking about, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Not one bit. Not even close.
No, not nary bit. So those are answers that we got. Be live. Greg Olsen, Tom Edward, Patrick Carmichael, Jerry Fitzgerald III, Brady. Who you want to see in the booth? Who you want to see keep the ass out the booth?
Well, there was a clear divide because we get our answers for the choice of the voices two different ways, and I understand this is Scottie D's little segment and everything. So he'll post it to his personal page first and tag a whole bunch of people, and then he'll share it to the Sports Bros family group, and he'll get a different set of answers. And there was a clear divide. Scottie D's closest confidants, most of them all wanted Brady in the booth. And then when we went to the Sports Bros family page, we got people that wanted Olsen in the booth. Me? I'm still stuck on the fact that Tom Brady is making $37.5 million for 4 months, 5 months of work. Of course, I know it's not just one day a week, but I mean, you got to do your research, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm still like trying to figure out what exactly is Tom Brady's personality. He's been on the Instagram and the Twitter every now and again, and I'm just still like, Can I what exactly is his on-air personality going to be for $37.5 million? So, jury's still out. I think Greg Olsen has stepped into that realm of where he could be a on-air personality. He's definitely grown amongst some of the people out here. I don't know. I really don't know. My homer pick is always going to be Greg Olsen. We'll see. We'll see. I just $37.5 million just don't sit right with me at all. And we don't know what his personality is. That's the thing. How do you pay that much money? Does he have that big of a following? And the thing about it is, his following is really the New England states and then a little sprinkle of Tampa Bay. But does he have countrywide, nationwide appeal? We'll see. Greg Olsen's my dude. I would pick him, but Tom Brady better bring it for $37.5 million. And I bet not see my cable bill go up. So I'm just saying,
paying that Tom Brady tax.
Right.
Yeah, damn.
I'm like I said, I know I'm going to pay a Netflix tax when it comes to WWE. My bad. I digress again. I'm sorry. I'm not going to cuss. $5 billion. Netflix, you don't have $5 billion, and then you won't let us share passwords. My bad. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Scottie D, what say you? Because he fitting to go, boy. He fitting to go. I gotta stop him. Go ahead, Scottie D.
Well, when it comes to this Greg Olsen, Tom Brady situation, when Olsen first got on the air, and I hear him talking like this all the time, I have to admit, it kind of made me a little bit crazy. He does his cadence and the way he speaks is a little annoying at times, but I do feel like I've gotten somewhat used to him. I think he's thoughtful and insightful. He provides a player's perspective, and I think he does so intelligently. And I think he's done a very admirable job as the lead guy the last couple of years. As for Tom Brady, I haven't heard him yet, so I can't speak like you said, B-Live. We don't really know what he's going to bring to the table. I remember when Troy Aikman became an analyst, thinking this guy, as a Dallas Cowboys fan, I have seen zero personality out of this dude in a decade on the team. And then he went on the air, and I think he's become one of the best football announcers out there. I think he has been his rapport with Joe Buck and what he brings to the table. I enjoy listening to a Troy Aikman broadcast. The Brady thing is more similar to Tony Romo. When Tony Romo got put right into that lead analyst spot, and we had never heard him before. And immediately people were saying, man, I really like Tony Romo. He's got this fresh perspective. He's like a kid. He's excited. And now it seems like those very things are what he's being criticized for after being, 6-7 years in the booth now.
Mm-hmm.
So where does Brady fall into that? That's what I'm going to be interested to hear. I think as far as like the Romo thing, maybe Tony Romo should have been brought along in another role, not another role, not a different job, but not as the number one guy. And maybe that's how I feel with Tom Brady. At this point, he doesn't have to be on the top game of the week every week. I kind of feel like he should have had to prove himself a little bit, get a little bit of experience doing a lesser game, whereas Greg Olsen has proved to be more than competent to be able to handle that. So I think it's a little bit unfair to Greg Olsen, who's actually been in there doing the work and doing an admirable job for the last couple of years, to get pushed aside just because this guy is the best quarterback of all time. He may not be that good in the booth. He might be Jason Witten instead of Troy Aikman. Who knows? But I fall in the camp that believes Greg Olsen was unjustly pushed from the number one spot.
Yeah, Scotty, as you said, instead of taking on the big Sunday, the big games like the Cowboys and the Eagles, go over there and do the Cardinals and the Commanders. Go do that first.
I got a question for Scott real quick. Do you think what the Tony Romo thing was more or less where Tony came in hot with the football analyst take, and he was able to call those plays before it happened, and then it became exactly who people expected him to be. Like, oh, all right, Tony, which play is this one going to be? And then he get it wrong. He's like sometimes you can see where he's just like he's throwing crap against the wall just to see what will actually stick. And
yeah, I think maybe he does a little bit of too much of the predicting thing because it worked for him and still does sometimes. But I think maybe sometimes he does a little bit too much of that, trying to say, "Here's what's going here. Watch out for this," and then they, watch out for this guy coming out of the slot, and then they hand it off. I think that does make him look silly sometimes, and sometimes he gets a little over the top, but with how excited he gets. But that doesn't bother me personally. But I do think that immediately when he came out, I think he was better than people thought. And as a Cowboy fan, people were sharing this with me a lot. People were always saying, "Hey, your boy Romo's doing good in the booth. I really listen to him." And I hear less of that now. And I just think maybe that style has maybe gotten on people's nerves a little bit. The always wanting to predict, always getting excited. This play is going to be huge right here. This is going to be a big play. And, it's like the second quarter and it's, you're at midfield. You get a lot of that out of Romo, that kind of stuff. And I think that maybe that he needs to maybe just level that off a little bit and to regain some of the luster that he's lost.
Yeah, and Tony, it turns out to be an off-tackle power handoff to the running back. So all that circling of the wide receivers and tight ends, just don't do that. Just don't do that. That leaves me, I would say, I'm kind of in agreement with you guys as far as Tom Brady. Like, we've never seen Tom Brady in this capacity. So we don't know what version of Brady we're going to get. Are we going to get a Tony Romo-esque type Brady? Or we're just going to get, Tom, Edward, Patrick, Carmichael, Fitzgerald, Brady, hey, I'm the best on it. So we don't know what we're going to get. So I'm going to be honest with you, man. I think Greg Olsen unceremoniously got bumped for Tom Brady. And I'm not a fan of it. Not because he's a former Carolina Panther, but the fact, I think Greg Olsen, like when a cat stretches and they do that whole kneading thing and they're trying to just knead and start to feel his way out. And I think Greg Olsen was like in mid-stretch, kneading and start to feel his way out. And the next thing you know, here comes Tom, Edward, Patrick, Tom Brady smiling, haircut, 535 shadow, and it's just, we just got to give everything to Tom. What do you say, beat out $37 million for how many months worth of work?
We have $37.5 million for probably about 5 months of work.
Yeah, and who knows? They might have him, Fox, a part of that. They might have him do some online stuff and have him cut some.
He better do something.
Giving you all this damn money, your ass better do something.
He better have full podcasts, and he better talk about the Sports Pros podcast when he does it, because let Spectrum let go at one red cent. I better hear Tom. I'm coming to your house. I'm like, okay, I pay your salary. You better feature the Sports Pros podcast. I said what I said.
Yeah,
I think the biggest disservice that is being done here, though, is the fact, and this is what's probably going to bother the public a lot and maybe cause some pushback, is the fact that Greg Olsen is being demoted and it's not performance based. This is something they told us 2 years ago was going to happen. Then Brady took a year after retiring from football to, I don't know what he did for the past year, but he wasn't in the booth. And now that he's ready, Olsen's getting pushed back. And so for him, he was told before, hey, you're good enough to be our top guy. We're going to put you out there every week at the game of the week. And now we're just going to replace you with someone who hasn't done it before. And I think that's probably where a lot of people are going to push back against this move. I mean, we're going to watch it anyway. We're not going to not watch the best game that's on just because it's Brady instead of Olsen. We're still going to watch. But, this is, to me, it seems excessive to pay Brady this kind of money, like you said, being an unproven commodity, when the last guy that was in the number one spot has done a pretty admirable job and was just gaining his footing, as Eddy was saying.
I just want to know if Tom Brady's going to talk as much trash as he's been talking, because he been talking calling players soft and the way to and like he been talking some talk. So let's see. I'm gonna see if he's gonna keep that same energy.
I was about to say,
So,
yeah. That'd be
I hope he
interesting.
does.
Me too.
I hope he does. Hope he gives us a little controversy, a little spice in there. Give it to us.
That 37.5, Tom, you gotta talk that talk, go. Gotta talk that talk. Gotta talk that talk, go, Brady. The damn goat. You gotta talk that talk, player. You got to. I'm just saying, I just wish the best for both, man. I just hope that Greg Olsen falls on his feet, which I'm pretty sure he will. Yeah, he'll be fine. I mean, it's one of those things where it's a bump in the road, but it's not enough for you to hit that bump in the road and the tires go north, south, east, west, every which way, and then you're sitting there with no tires. But you can, just a little small bump in. Greg Olsen, you'll bounce back, right? Yeah, you'll bounce back. Ain't that right, Greg Olsen? You'll bounce back, won't you, Greg?
Boy, I don't know. This one's a really hard one to take.
So Greg, do you have any advice for Tom Brady going to this upcoming football season? What to do, what not to do?
Yeah, if you get a game that's scheduled in Pittsburgh, definitely you have to go to Permane Brothers.
Permane Brothers, that's a whole promotion. Now, Greg, what's Permane Brothers?
Well, what they do is they take French fries and coleslaw, they put it right on your sandwich. Pittsburgh people absolutely love that. It's delicious.
Good old, ladies and gentlemen, that was Greg Olsen, former Fox analyst, who appears time to time from here on the Sports Bros podcast. And I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Greg Olsen, if you look at his hair, he has former football player color commentary hair. He has that hair is just perfect. It's just, I'm like, you know what? You look like you belong on TV. I don't care what they say about you.
He should have been Ken in the Barbie movie, if you ask me.
I'm over here trying to figure out, did Scott get a check for that commercial he just put on there? That's all I'm saying. We getting paid, or we doing this?
You guys want Chicken Bog? I'd like a Permane Brothers sandwich.
Well, I guess we'll have to have a pot of Chicken Bog and a Permane Brothers sandwich. Just sitting here, just all kind of food and stuff. All right, I'm getting hungry, and that's been it for another edition of the Choice of the Voices. Scottie D, what's on tap for next week?
Well, next week we're going to broaden the topic outside of just football, and then we're going to ask you to tell us, what is your favorite sports record? What is your favorite? Maybe it's a record you like because you think it's untouchable. Maybe it's because it's a player that you like, or maybe you like the way about how it came to be. Anyway, we're talking about all-time favorite sports records, and that'll give us something to talk about next week there, Eddie. Cool.
Does Shaq rap song count as a sports record? No, I'm being silly. I'm being.
I got skills. Absolutely. If that's your favorite record, we'll go with that one.
Nah, that's not it. I already know my
Knick Knack Shack Attack. Give the dog a bone.
What the hell? He went platinum. He went platinum.
You know that Shaq is actually performing in Colombia next month.
Oh man.
DJ Diesel's coming to Columbia, South Carolina.
What doesn't that guy do? I tell you.
So, hey,
he does more appearances than Gronk. He's crazy. He's everywhere.
Yeah, resurrecting Papa John's. He got another podcast. The big
Sheriff.
Sheriff. What man? Look,
MMA.
Yeah, appeared on AEW. Went through a table. They took his big ass off on a stretcher. I was like, "What can
he does it? He does it all."
I'm like, "What can he's a modern day Shaq." I can't compare him.
He's a mogul. He's definitely a mogul, without question. So, all right.
And since you said something about South Carolina Gamecock, Scottie D, 43 wins, yes, by Don Staley. Doing a damn thing down there in Columbia. My girls look good. They beating everybody, and we want the smoke and the chips and the dip. All right. With that being said, that does it. What?
43 wins in a row in the SEC. Is that's what you're talking about?
Yep. Okay. That's what I'm referring to. I kind of lost track, but yes, be like, thank you. 43 wins in the SEC. You got to play teams like Tennessee, LSU.
That was supposed to be it. That was supposed to be a pepper point. Ain't nobody trying to hear all that. Let's keep it moving. All right.
It ain't
I
my
said
pepper
what
point, but I'm gonna say it. Let's go, Gamecocks. Round, round. We on your ass like flies on. With that being said, it's been it for another choice of the voices. Coming up next, Be Live. Grab the grinder. It's time for a round of pepper. And I'm gonna blow my nose because I ain't trying to sneeze. Coming at you right here on the Sports Bros Podcast.
Okay, boys, let's bring it home with a round of pepper.
All right, you heard the woman. It's time for us to go home and get what I call the hell up out of here. But before we go, a round of pepper. You know how we do it. 3 topics, rapid fire style. Kind of, sort of, not really here to engage, enlighten, educate, and entertain. The 4 E's in no particular order, but they always wind up in that order. With that being said, I'll go first. On this day in history, back in 1963, future Baseball Hall of Famer, outfielder Willie Mays becomes the highest paid player in Major League Baseball, signing a record $100,000 contract with the San Francisco Giants. Well, needless to say, that record has been eclipsed multiple times. Look at Shohei Ohtani, 10 years, $700 million. To quote a famous comedian from a show, good Lord, that's a lot of money. Over to you, Scottie D.
All right, I'm not sure why it took this long, but Kwame Brown has been recently criticized Skip Bayless for criticizing Barry Sanders. This was an old take by Skip Bayless, but Kwame Brown called Skip Bayless a Dracula dry-faced Muppet. And that's really all I have to say. Yeah, I enjoyed that comment so much that I wanted to come on our show and say the word Dracula dry-faced Muppet. Be Live, over to you.
that is.
Oh God, you almost took me out.
Dracula, dry-faced
Muppet. That should be the title of the show.
I'm all for it. All right. My first pepper point. We're gonna switch gears without a little football. It's almost that time. We're looking today. We're publishing this episode to be on February 20th. So we are very close to March Madness. So I would like to update the people about our teams when it comes to college men's basketball, because the women's we know is South Carolina and everybody else. This is ridiculous at this point. But on the men's side of the ball, as it sits right today, when it comes to bracketology, Clemson is projected to be a 5 seed. South Carolina, the Gamecocks, are projected to be a 6 seed, and the Pitt is struggling. All right, Eddy, cool.
No, they're not struggling.
So
Joe Lunardi has projected them to get a couple. They've won 7 out of the last 8 games, including wins on the road at North Carolina, at Virginia. And I got Clemson coming up here, I believe, next week. So they actually are playing their best basketball of the season right now. Blake Hinson had 40 points, a 40-burger against Louisville on Saturday. So Pitt's surging at the right time. They have some work to do.
They're at the right time.
Yeah, they're not struggling. They struggled early, which could come back to haunt them. They actually are playing well right now.
And as of right now, they're not in as of yet, but they
are not. They would not be.
But they're saying that if they continue to play the way they play, they should be in as of right now. There are three ACC locks: Duke, North Carolina, and Clemson. Virginia, they're saying Virginia's trending in the right direction, and Pitt is trending in the right direction. Virginia, they're saying they're in. Pitt, they're still saying that they're out. But we shall see. Now, yeah. I'll keep you updated. Eddy, cool. The ball.
Dang, fellas, remember when Virginia won the national basketball championship a while back?
Yeah, no, I can't
3 years ago.
Can't stand watching them play. Never mind, my bad.
Yep, I said, damn, Virginia won it. No. And I also didn't know that Jalen Brunson went to Villanova. You learn something new every day. You learn something new every day. Speaking of something new, to all the video gamers out there, EA Sports, College Football 2025, it's back. Oh, it is back. All right. I mean, this article on IGN.com. It says EA released a teaser trailer acknowledging the anticipation of fans who have been waiting for over 10 years for a new simulation college football game. While no proper gameplay was revealed, EA did say the upcoming sports game will be called College Football 25, with confirmation that a full reveal will arrive in May ahead of its summer 2024 release window. There have been talks of EA reviving the college football video game series since 2021 after the Supreme Court ruled the same year that college athletes should profit from their name, image, and likeness. EA announced it would add real-world college football players into the game. EA also confirmed in the years leading up to the release that fan favorite modes Road to Glory and Dynasty will return to the next college football video game. I'm excited, which means I'm gonna have to get a console so I'll start busting some ass. I gotta have an outlet, and if we gonna bring college football back, might as well do it. Might as well build a school and build some stuff and just have fun. I'm just happy that EA Sports College Football 2025. Oh, it's back. It's back. And I heard that Notre Dame is in it too. Man, I heard that Notre Dame is in it too. So you're gonna see a spike in people getting paid, all from a video game, as they should. Scottie D, over to you.
A very warm moment for the Pittsburgh Penguins franchise on Sunday afternoon. I'm gonna have to go to this one, be live. Jaromir Jagr came back to Pittsburgh to have his jersey retired. His jersey now up in the rafters with Mario Lemieux and Michel Briere. And Jagr came to Pittsburgh in 1990 with a mullet and not very good English, and his mom from Czechoslovakia. 11 years he spent with the Penguins, winning the Stanley Cup in 91 and 92. His name, scrambled, Jaromir, can be rewritten as Mario Jr. So there was a lot of love for Jagr when he first came in to Pittsburgh. He retired from the game as the second all-time leading scorer. In 2011, he had a chance to come back to Pittsburgh, but instead he chose Philly over the Penguins, believing he would be a third or fourth line type of guy behind Malkin and Crosby. But it seems all is forgiven. The boos have gone away, and Jaromir Jagr's 68 is now hanging in the rafters. And it was a nice moment because before the game he came out and he skated with the team in the warm-ups. The rest of the team was wearing mullets and his 68 jersey, and it was kind of a cool thing. And then the team went out and promptly gave up 2 goals in the last 7 minutes to lose to the Kings 2-1 and ruin the day. So maybe time to blow up the current edition of the Penguins. But a look into the past and the nostalgia was very nice for Sunday. Jaromir Jagr, number 68. Be live. Over to you.
Good old Jaromir Jagr. So he finally retired, right? He's done.
Yep. He's still playing. So he's still playing some soccer, not some hockey. I don't know where my mind's at. I read the article as Scottie D stole my pepper point. He's still playing some hockey overseas, but as far as the NHL, yeah, his last NHL game was 2017, I do believe.
Yeah, he's never going to quit. He's just going to always play. He's like Ricky Henderson. I think Ricky Henderson's still playing fast pitch baseball
somewhere. Somewhere going like, I'm about to steal this base. Man, you about 60, ain't you? And Ricky running down the baseline. But yeah, he's still stealing. Yeah, Ricky Henderson will be 70, still stealing bases. Jaromir Jagr will be 75, still scoring hat tricks. All right, B-Live, go ahead.
Oh, yes. For my second pepper point, I'm going to allude to the NHL as well, because we need to ramp up the talk, because I don't know about y'all, but playoff hockey is just I think is one of the better things to watch and witness in person. And if anybody out there's got a little extra money or whatnot, I wouldn't mind going to a playoff Hurricane game. Just saying, it's the loudest arena in all of NHL, and when I tell you PNC Arena is that place to be, I absolutely love it. But as it sits right now, Hurricanes are second in the Metropolitan Division. The Florida Panthers are on a tear, winning 9 of the last 10. They are atop the Eastern Conference. In the Western Conference, the Vancouver Canucks are tearing it up. They are leading by 5 points over the next team, the Dallas Stars in the Western Conference. Can Vancouver bring the Stanley Cup back to Canada? It has been a very, very long time. So we shall see. I am up for it. Let's get it. Let's go. NHL hockey got about 27, 28 more games for most teams. It's about to ramp up. We're about to see some really, really good hockey. Edwin Vereen, Eddy Koo, pop the puck. Yes, sir.
It's been 30 years. I think the Montreal Canadiens last won it, if I'm not mistaken, like back in 92 or 93. All right, my third and final pepper point is going to be a little personal, but I want everybody to pay attention. In the words of B Live back in 2004, pay attention, all right? Now, most of you know that I do camera work, not only for WOBL, WDLW, but I also do camera work for I-90 Sports, which, you know, I'm co-founder. Well, cat's out the bag. So, a lot of times, there'll be people passing by. If you see the cameraman or the photographer, at least wait till he's done filming to pass by or duck. You know what I can't stand? When I'm filming and I'm looking out of my eye over in my peripheral and I see you look dead at me and you're still walking past the camera. Nah, go ahead. It's all good. I'm not recording. No, I'm not going to put this on social media. No, I'm not going to put this on YouTube. No, I'm not going to put this in a highlight compilation. So just go ahead and just pass by, you know. Yeah, everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame, but when you see the photographer or when you see the videographer, do like Affleck and duck. That's all you got to do. Scottie D, over to you.
And also, if you see the two brass railings, get out of there. That's where the servers are picking up their drinks. That's not where you order from the bartender.
No, wrong with y'all.
Just throwing another pet peeve out there. All right, so on Saturday, UFC 298, Alexander Volkanovski lost his title to Ilya Topuria. Volkanovski was the featherweight champion and considered to be the best in UFC history, having had 11 straight wins. He last moved up to heavyweight last spring to fight Islam Makhachev and lost a decision that many thought he won. And since then, he took a knockout to him and now a knockout here to Topuria. And it's got me thinking, this 35-year-old guy who once looked unbeatable, starting to remind me of Chuck Liddell or Anderson Silva, Tony Ferguson, Fedor Emelianenko, Ronda Rousey, or even in the boxing world, Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. Remember when Roy Jones Jr. moved up to heavyweight to fight John Ruiz? Then he barely beat Antonio Tarver, and then in a rematch, he got knocked out and couldn't beat anybody after that. The aging factor for combat sports, it's starting to hit Alexander Volkanovski, and I hate to see it. It seems like it happens to everyone in combat sports except maybe The Rock. Be Live, over to you.
We shall see. My third and final pepper point is going to be a twofer, and it's going to be about women's basketball. I talk trash about the Gamecocks, and that's always going to be that case. But we had some milestones this past week, and shout out to the Coot Killer,
oh boy, here we
Caitlin Clark, which is now the all-time leading scorer for all of women's basketball, college women's basketball. But she's not done. The almost untouchable record is within her sight. Pistol Pete, 3,667 points. Caitlin Clark has 3,569 points. At her current pace, it would take her 4, maybe 5 games and to surpass Pistol Pete. And Iowa's got 6 games to go, so we're going to see history. Even though Pete only played 3 seasons, and Caitlin's played that's 44 points a game. Pistol Pete Maravich. If back when he played, they didn't even allow freshmen to play. That's the reason why he only played 3 seasons. But I said I had a twofer because at the end of the day, as sports analysts, commentators, all the things that we love to do, sometimes we just got to do better. And it hurts because this is one of my favorites. But Kenny Smith, I need you to do better because they is on yo. Ooh, that's what you can't do is have little jabs like Scottie D when it comes to women's sports. And as Steph Curry versus Sabrina Ionescu had a little 3-point contest, and Steph Curry won. Ionescu actually tied what my boy named Dame Lillard that won the 3-point contest. She had the same amount of points. But Kenny Smith decided to say maybe she should have shot from the women's 3-point line and she'd have done better.
God, dog, boy, you can't do that.
No, I mean,
you can't do that, bro.
Not 2024. Can't do that.
He was saying that it was unfair to her to have to shoot from that far. He was on her side. He was yeah, that got taken the wrong way. I listened to it. He wasn't trying to be a punk. He was saying that it was a disadvantage to her to have to go the further distance, and she's used to shooting.
Well, I'll Scottie D, you bring things to light. I'm reading the story. It is Sabrina Ionescu. Holla at your boy. I'm shooting my shot on the air.
Oh Lord! And then close and do something nice for yourself. And if you can do something nice for someone else, I greatly appreciate it now more than ever. This is the Sports Bros Podcast.
Hey, it's Eddy Cool here from the Sports Bros Podcast. Thank you for listening, and as always, continue to follow us on all of our social media platforms. Just click the link in the description box and keep up with the Sports Bros Podcast. And once again, thanks for listening.